If you have a Pelican Pro RO, a 6-stage reverse osmosis water system, I'm going to show you how you can change out the tank and your 2-stage inline filter with just a spoon. This is not clickbait. Next. I'm Rick, and this Shut the heck up, you stinking roosters. Prepare that for your sanity. This is the Shack. Hello and welcome back to the Shack. If this is your first time stopping by, thank you so much for taking some of your valuable time out to view. If I'm lying, I'm dying. I'm dead serious. This is the only thing I used to help remove the tank and the inline filter. And we'll talk more about that later in the video. Now, there are two reasons why you might be watching this video. The obvious is you want to know how to replace your tank or how involved it is in replacing it if you can do it yourself. And I'm telling you right now, don't waste your money on a plumber. I'm going to show you how, save you all that money. And what the heck, shoot me $5 for a thank you. No tools required. You don't need to have a plumber come in and do this. This is very, very simple. If it wasn't for the fact I had to set up the camera, get things ready, I could have had this task completed in under 30 minutes. Guaranteed. If that's the case, look up here. I will have the timeline. Fast forward to that time in the video, and you can start your installation process. Now for the rest of us, I'm going to kind of walk you through the scenario, how I narrowed it down to, yes, I need to replace my tank. Kind of obvious, but I wasn't sure, so I'm going to kind of go through that quickly. I'm kind of a stickler for my manuals, and I still have my manual for my water system. Even on the back page here, I have when I installed the system. I installed my system August 10th, 2016. The date of this filming is June 10th, 2021. Close enough, it's been in service for 5 years. About a year ago, I've noticed that the flow wasn't as strong as it was prior. It was getting less. But in the last 2 months, all of a sudden, it just dropped off the chart. I could not fill a 10-cup container to put water into my coffee maker without it going dry. I have to shut it off, wait a couple minutes, turn it back on, finish filling that up so I can put water in my coffee maker. Got the manual, kind of reading through it, thinking, okay, where could I possibly have issues? I'm not getting water, so something's restricted somewhere. That's my thinking. So I go underneath the sink, turn off the supply valve. That supplies water to this and to my faucet. Open the sink faucet. No water's coming out, open up little by little, water starts coming out, open all the way, I got a good flow. So I know that the valve is okay, I'm getting plenty of flow out of my faucet. Nothing was kinked, they're plastic, you can see. No reason why this should not have the pressure. In the description, please stop the video, scroll down, look at all the information down there. I will have phone number to Pelican. I will have 2 links to 2 vendors for the tank. I will have links for the 2-stage and the 4-stage filter. So I called Pelican, told him, this is when I installed the system. Last 2 months, I lost water pressure. All the above that I already went through was fine. So he asked, how much do we use the system? I told the gentleman, you know what, hold on a moment. Let me go to the kitchen and I want to figure this out because I want to know for my peace of mind exactly how much we use. I know we use it a lot, but I'm not sure how much. I went in the kitchen, I got one of our cups. This is our average cup. Filled it up to about here and it took 24 ounces, 3 cups. So 3 cups, measuring cups in one of our cups that we normally drink. My wife and I will go through, between us, 12 of those a day. On average, we drink about 6 cups of water like that a day. Add in the fact that we have 10 cups in the morning for coffee. And because I have the greatest refrigerator that's got the top of the line ice maker in it, I'm being very sarcastic. Got a piece of crap. Samsung has the worst ice maker on the friggin' planet. So I had to buy a portable ice maker. So now I'm pouring water into this portable ice maker, on average 10 to 20 cups. So I got a happy medium. I said 15 cups every single day goes into that. So we added that up, and just for basics, not even anything extra, 60 to 65 cups a day. That doesn't take in account for, I brew my own iced coffee, and in summertime I am brewing sun tea at least once a week, and that's a half gallon of the coffee. Just basics, 60 to 65 cups a day. So instead of us being in the average margin, we are off camera, we are way over here, we are above average. With that, he said, your issue is your tank. It has been compromised. The bladder is cracked inside. Basically inside this tank is pressurized. It's like a deflated balloon. As the water goes through the 4-stage filter, comes into your holding tank, that expands. As it expands, it's pushing against the forces in here. This has already been charged. It has air inside there, 5 to 6 pounds of pressure only inside this. So that's pushing against all the pressure on the inside of this. So when you do open up your reverse osmosis faucet, that pressure, it's like squeezing on that balloon to squeeze the water out, and that's where you get your pressure. And because this is expanded, deflated, expanded, in and out, in and out, in and out, he said the bladder has cracked. So as it fills with water, it's pushing against the outer forces. With those cracks, that air has to go somewhere. It can't just squeeze the balloon back. It's seeping in through the cracks. So now you don't have as much force squeezing it closed as you did before. Makes a lot of sense. Now, when we determined that it was my tank, he told me I could put a Band-Aid fix on it temporarily. This little blue knob here, if you unscrew this, you have a valve, an air valve. Basically the same thing you find on your tire, on your bikes, just a little stem here to pump air into. Because the bladder's pushing the air in there and the air is leaking into the bladder, it's lost the pressure, I could recharge the system, and he told me no more than 6. So you want between 5 and 6 pounds. That's the optimal pressure in the tank. But again, it would give me the pressure, but it wouldn't give me longevity. It'd just be temporary fixed. Now, I didn't want to do it for 2 reasons, because I didn't want to disconnect the system, bring the tank out to the shop, and have to charge it here. The best way I think to do this is if you have a portable hand pump. That's the way to do it. If I had a tire pump, a hand tire pump, or a foot pump, that would be perfect. You hook it on there, that way you can just pump a little bit, get 5 to 6 pounds in, be done, and be temporary fix, and then you could wait a week or 2 to get the other one. At least you got pressure back temporarily. I think we've covered everything we need to cover, why you may need to do yours, because that was the issue with mine. If you have loss of pressure, this very well could be the culprit. So let's get in the house, get under the sink, and get busy. But before we do that, when you get into the house, clean out everything from under the sink so we have a clutter-free work area. That alone will take you half an hour. So let's get in the house and get busy. So the next thing we want to do, now that everything's cleaned out here, we want to turn off our supply valve. So we turn this off. With the supply line turned off, we can go to the next step. So I'm going to turn the water on now that I have the supply line off, and relieve of any pressure. Now there's no pressure going into the system. Okay, now what I'm going to do, mine's pretty simple. I'm going to slide the whole unit out right there, and I can turn it so all the lines are accessible. Now, if the pressure is relieved from the tank and the system, we're going to turn the valve off. And you see right here, you got this little red, like washer type thing. It's just a locking clip. And it's just plastic, it's very easy. Put a finger on both sides, push it down, and literally pops right off. Put it aside, do not lose it. Now, just in case some water does flow out that's left over, oh, this thing's heavy, it's full of water. I'll put it underneath there. Now, I'm going to release this. See if I can get it closer in here, but the connection is a slip fit, so I have to push it in and pull the hose out. It makes it a little tough. It's right there. So what I'm going to do, see if I can use a, there it goes. You got to push it in there and push out on this at the same time there. This connects that easy. So you just may need something to help you gain a little leverage. I apologize for the angle you didn't get to see very well. Basically, what I did was, this is a slip fit fitting. But when you put in the tube into this, you push it in all the way. This will close, and when this bottoms out in there, you pull out just a hair. That pulls this a little bit and that locks. I got to improvise. So that I can rest my spoon or whatever you want to help you leverage pushing on this fitting. Pushed on that, and that way I can hold it and pull that out. Same as on the valve on top of the tank, you have that red C-clip that basically locks in here, preventing the slip fit from getting pushed in at all, so it doesn't come loose, doesn't start leaking. So when you do take that off, put it away, do not lose it to put it back on. Just same thing as the tank, I pushed on like that, and I used my other hand, I was kind of pushing the tank away to get this to release, and it came out. Or they have these little, almost like a C-clip ring thing that fits over that, so it helps you gain more area to push on to release it. Look in the description, I will have a link to something like that also if you want to buy that to help. So now we're done disassembling this. Now we got to take the valve off and put it on the new tank. Now I have to throw in a word of warning here, a little caution. I didn't show it in the video. I got busy just trying to get the job done. After I disconnected this from the hose, there still might be some pressure in your tank. Before I attempted to unscrew the valve from the tank, I took the tank, set it up on the counter, sat it on its side, opened up the valve, and I did have a little pressure left in there. One thing you do not want to do is to unscrew the valve and all of a sudden off it goes and water gets sprayed everywhere. So please, before you unscrew the valve from the tank, take the tank, set it on edge like this, valve facing your sink, turn the valve on to make sure it relieves any pressure out of the tank completely. Then, and only then, you're safe to remove the valve from the tank. Now, it's no more pressure. You literally just spin this off, and there you have it. So we can put this one aside and bring in our new one. This is just protective cover. There you go. And we're just simply going to screw this back on. There you go. Don't force it, don't cross thread it, it'll go on. We're just going to screw it till it is tight. A good time to, if there's any of this left in here, I'm going to just clean that out real quick. Take the time to just inspect, make sure. So you want to take care of anything now. I'm just going to spray that in there. I'm going to clean that off before we go any further. Good. So now we can take our new tank. And I tell you, it's so much lighter versus that one that's cracked and has full of water. One thing you want to make sure is the little valve here. You kind of want to go in that way. So I'm going to, there we go. So I want to make sure the valve and that are lined up so it's facing the same way. Again, this was just hand tight on the old one. It wasn't bad. Once we connect it, if we get any leaking, and we'll tighten it a little bit. So that's facing in there. This goes on. And basically just slide that hose into the slip fit here. Just slide that in and push it. Trying to get this in focus. Push that in. Make sure I got a good seal. Find our red clip, and we're going to start it right there, because this keeps it from coming loose. Basically, it's keeping that clip, this self-locking sleeve, keep it from pushing back to open up on accident. So you just slide that on there. You want to make sure that locking sleeve, you want to push in and come out a little bit so it opens it and lock it. When we turn the supply valve on, we'll keep this shut off. So if we get any water leaking in, we can attend this before it gets any water inside the tank. Now with that said, the next thing we're going to do, since I have both of them and they are both due, I'm going to replace the two-stage filter or the inline filter that goes from the tank to the water spigot. Push in the sleeve, locking sleeve, pull out the tubing, and we're going to replace that. Now before I replace that, I'm going to take my new one and I'm going to write in the date so I know today's date. I got on got my date, and then I'm going to put my due date, which on this case, I do these every 6 months. So this was done on 12/15. It's due on 6/15, so I'm right there, 6/12. So this one will be 12/12. Now in December, I'll be receiving another filter to replace this one. Now we're ready. I will grab my spoon, since it's what I use for leverage, and keep the towel down here so water will drip down. So I'm going to push in here. I'm going to push that out. Push. Let's see if I can get this to push in and pull it out. There it goes. Hold it on the ground since I got 2 hands to do this now. Push it up. Pull up. So the new one, simply, this is my new one, and I have to look for the flow. Flow goes to the faucet that way. You'll see the arrow right here. It says flow to faucet that way, so it goes up. So this end goes to the tank, that end goes to the faucet. So I'm just going to simply push that in, push in all the way, pull back a little bit to lock it, and top the same thing. I will push it in as far as I can do, pull it a little bit, make sure it's secure, and that's it, we're done. That's how you replace your 2-stage inline filter. If you want to know anything about how to replace the 4-stage filter, check in the links up there. I have a link up there that goes through that. Now we can get this finalized, get this out of the way. I'm going to put this back up here. Now we got this set in there. Let's find our little strap here, wrap our strap around, hook it in there, and lock it closed. So now let's leave it here. We're going to turn on the supply line, and we're going to make sure we have no leaks here first. So I'm going to reach back here, and I'm going to turn on the supply line. I'm just going to turn a couple turns. I don't want to get full pressure yet because I want to check, see if there's any leakage. Okay, let me reach back here. I'm going to turn it on a little bit. I can hear the water going in. Okay, I'm just going to leave that on for a little bit. There it goes. Okay, I'm going to check. And you can hear it go, a little hissing noise. Pressurize the filter because it's going into the filter before it comes into here. This, no leak yet. So we're good. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to open this up a little bit. You see the line taking water in. There, all the way open. Well, we got a little bit of an issue. I'm glad I waited to see. I don't know if you can see it, there's water. It is leaking right there. So what I'm going to do, I shut off the supply line, turn this off. So I'm going to undo the belt that holds this on, and I'm going to just spin it where it sets before it gets too full. Lock that up. And I'm simply going to spin this. There. I just spun it, held on to this. I got a full turn out of it, so it had more to go. I didn't think it would go that much more. So I'm going to put the little strap around here, lock this back on, and we're going to give this a few more minutes. I'm going to turn the supply water on again, and then I'll turn this on so the water will be going through, and I'll give it another 15 minutes and I'll see if I get any more leakage down there. It's been over an hour now, and I'm just going, I know you can probably see it, but I'm going to make sure there is no water nowhere. Now I did have to do this one more time, so I actually had to rotate the tank twice, 360 degrees, and now it's nice and snug and tight. It did leak a little bit more, but that's why we just do a little at a time to make sure. I didn't want to over tighten it, just wanted to tighten enough where it didn't leak. So now I can shove this back in there, put all the stuff back underneath the cabinet. This is done and complete. Now that we have completed the installation, there are no more leaks. We have to flush the bladder. Treat this like a brand new system. We allow that to fill up, give it a good hour so it's completely full, and then we're going to turn on the reverse osmosis faucet and flush it out. Now in my case, because I also did the inline 2-stage filter, it will come out black to grayish and somewhat clear. If you did not do that, it should just come out clear. but you still have to flush it. Fill it up, let it fill for an hour, open it up, let it completely drain out till it comes down to very minimal drizzle or even starts dripping. Mine, as you see here, just came out as a drizzle. Shut the system off, allow it to fill again, repeat the process, and I think they actually said on the third time allow it to sit overnight for an 8-hour period. I did this towards the evening, so on the second flush when I turned it off, I didn't touch it till morning. So in the morning, got up, we drained the system, we had water set aside so we could have our coffee and drinking water somewhat till this was done. Once it flushed the third time, we're good to go. It did have a hint, I should say, of a little bit of chlorine. By the end of the day, it was fine. We didn't taste anything. It was good water again. A little long, I know, but I hope this has helped. Again, save you money, save you a plumber. You saw the little thing, look in the descriptions, help support the channel. If I saved you a plumber's fee, hey, $5 is a good thank you. That is it for this video. Thank you so much for watching. Be blessed. Take back check. Builder for your sanity. Got to keep the water flowing. See you next video. Hello and welcome. Can't even say a basic intro. Hello and welcome. Hey, if you're new to the channel or if this is your first time stopping by, thank you so much for taking some of that Hello and welcome. If you're new to the channel or if this is your first time stopping by, thank you so much. Why do I pause? Yes, I am serious when I tell you 3, 2, 1. Yes. This may help you in diagnosing your system situation if it's the same as mine. Or does that sound right? I don't know. Tired. I gotta get this done. When we first installed our system, we had a goodie. Oh my gosh, it's late. I gotta go to bed.